I want to say, and this is very important, at the end, we lucked out. It was luck that prevented nuclear war. We came that close to nuclear war at the end. Rational individuals. Kennedy was rational. Khrushchev was rational. Castro was rational. Rational individuals came that close to total destruction of their societies. And that danger exists today. The major lesson of the Cuban Missile Crisis is this: the indefinite combination of human fallibility and nuclear weapons will destroy nations. Is it right and proper that today there are 7,500 strategic offensive nuclear warheads, of which 2,500 are on 15-minute alert to be launched by the decision of one human being? It wasn't until January 1992, in a meeting chaired by Castro in Havana, Cuba, that I learned 162 nuclear warheads, including 90 tactical warheads, were on the island at the time of this critical moment of the crisis. I couldn't believe what I was hearing, and Castro got very angry with me because I said, Mr. President, let's stop this meeting. This is totally new to me. I'm not sure I got the translation right. Mr. President, I have 3 questions to you. Number 1, did you know the nuclear warheads were there? Number 2, if you did, would you have recommended to Khrushchev, in the face of a U.S. attack, that he use them? Number 3, if he had used them, what would have happened to Cuba? He said, number 1, I knew they were there. Number 2, I would not have recommended to Khrushchev. I did recommend to Khrushchev that they be used. Number 3, what would have happened to Cuba? It would have been totally destroyed. That's how close we were.
And he was willing to accept that?
Yes. Oh, and he went on to say, Mr. McNamara, if you and President Kennedy had been in a similar situation, that's what you would have done. I said, Mr. President, I hope to God we would not have done it. Pull the temple down on our heads, my God. In a sense, we'd won. We got the missiles out without war. My deputy and I brought the 5 chiefs over. We sat down with Kennedy, and he said, gentlemen, we won. I don't want you ever to say it, but you know we won. I know we won. And LeMay said, "One hell, we lost. We should go in and wipe them out today." LeMay believed that ultimately we're going to confront these people in a conflict with nuclear weapons, and by God, we better do it when we have greater superiority than we will have in the future. At the time, we had a 17-to-1 strategic advantage in nuclear numbers. We'd done 10 times as many tests as they had. We were certain we could retain that advantage if we limited the tests. The chiefs were all opposed. They said the Soviets will cheat. Well, I said, how will they cheat? You won't believe this, but they said, they'll test them behind the moon. They said, you're out of your mind. I said, that's absurd. It's almost impossible for our people today to put themselves back into that period. In my 7 years as secretary, we came within a hair's breadth of war with the Soviet Union on 3 different occasions. 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. For 7 years as Secretary of Defense, I lived the Cold War. During the Kennedy administration, they designed a 100 megaton bomb. It was tested in the atmosphere. I remember this. Cold War? Hell, it was a hot war. I think the human race needs to think more about killing, about conflict. Is that what we want in this 21st century?